Hello, welcome to this edition of Summer 2022 presentation of the exclusive tea club, Chai Chai's exclusive tea club, where I'll show you what teas we selected for this summer. As you probably know, for the summer we want to choose teas that are more refreshing. There'll obviously be some green tea, but I didn't only choose green tea. There'll be some other teas, so I'd like to talk a little bit about each one. So this club, you can sign up on our webpage, and if you have any questions about what I'm saying or would like some more information, you can comment down below, and I will reply. And if you love tea and you want to be surprised with a little selection of amazing teas every 3 months, this is the club for you, and I hope you join. We also gather on Zoom and talk about the teas, and I can assist you and help you personally there too as well with your questions. That's what this club is for introducing you to new teas and helping you learn. So the first tea I'd like to discuss is the tea I'm actually going to be drinking here, that I already started drinking because I already did the Spanish video. It's beautiful leaf. It's almost bluish green. It's Luan Wapian. Luan Wapian, Luan, it comes from Luan in Anhui, and Wapian, which means melon seed. So this name is very poetic. The melon seed, the melon is a very fortuitous vegetable or gourd, and the seed is symbolizes fertility. So it's a tea that in the Chinese cosmology has a very beautiful poetic name, and it's actually one of the 10 famous teas, Chinese teas. So Chinese love to make lists, and they make lists for everything. And there's this list of the 10 best or the 10 most famous Chinese teas, and Luan Wapian is always on that list. So this is a chance to taste this tea, discover this tea, and really at Chai Chai we haven't offered this tea in over 10 years. It's been over a decade, and it's a fantastic tea that breaks kind of what people tend to think that Chinese green tea is very delicate, very refined, and very light. And it's true that many Chinese greens are like that, but not all of them. And this is one that's more intense. It's thick. It has very special processing. So unlike most high-grade teas that consist of bud and leaf, or just bud, this green tea actually doesn't have bud, or very few buds. It's mostly just the first leaf and the first leaf with the second leaf, but no buds. And it begins with a shaching. The shaching is the kill green phase, where they stop the oxidation, the natural oxidation that's happening when you pick a leaf and begins to wilt. That shaching is done at 100 degrees and then brought down to 80 degrees. And when it's at 80 degrees already, it's being flattened with a bamboo brush that helps give it this shape. And the tea undergoes in this processing a special baking, and you will notice this baking. You will notice these notes of like charcoal, ash notes that are fantastic. So it's a little bit like Longjing in that roasted nature, but it's different. Actually, I'm gonna start anew. I thought I left the leaves there. Well, that gives me a chance to change the tea I'm going to drink. So I'm actually going to have this one, which I'll discuss later. But I'll let you look at the leaves now, because later there'll be less of them. It's also a Chinese green, and it's also from the list of the 10 famous teas. That's all I'll say about it for now. I'll take some leaves, put it in here, and later we'll discuss this tea as well. I just like to drink tea as we talk about tea. So this Luan Wapian was a tribute tea. It's a famous tea. It's an old tea. It was said to be the favorite of the Empress Dowager Cixi. And so of course it's been famous for a long time. This particular specimen does not come from the pre-Qingming period, which is the highest grade green teas are usually come from those first days of spring. This comes from the period between the Qingming, which is about April 5th and 6th, and the Day of the Rains, which is about April 20th. So it's in between that period, which is also a very good time to get tea, green tea. You do want to get it before the Day of the Rains, so meaning the harvest from that time. So yeah, you will notice like a little bit of a roast, a little bit. It'll be denser and more intense than most Chinese greens that you might have come across from now. And you will also, I recommend you also just take the leaf and you eat it. It's very crunchy. This tea is a tea with very low residual water in it. It's delicious. It's just delicious just to eat. That's something I recommend you do in general. To try leaves. This one, I think it's delicious. Very low moisture from that baking, so it's very crunchy, very flavorful. Okay, the second tea is another green tea that contrasts greatly with the first. You can see the fine cut sencha from Japan. Here you can also appreciate the bluish tinge that I meant from the. See how it's a little bit bluish, this one, and here you have this very deep, intense Japanese green, but it's actually so intense because it's really shaded. It's a sencha, but it has 7 days shade, so it's almost kabuse. It's organic from organic certified from Kagoshima, Kirishima, and it's the Saimidori varietal, which is my favorite varietal. Very creamy. It's a premium quality. It's the highest grade quality from this producer, and it's so much umami, and it's shincha. So it's shincha means a new tea. It's from the first days of the harvest, which is the best for that fresh feeling. It's just, to me, this is as good as sencha gets, and even better because it has a little bit of shade, so it's a little bit even better than as a normal sencha would be. Just to explain, if in case you don't know, the processing in Japanese green tea and Chinese green tea is very different. We said this underwent the shaching on the wok, high fire, and then a baking. And this was done steamed. That gives it that green color, preserves that green color, and also it has that more vegetal flavor, less not nutty. It's vegetal. I recommend trying this sencha in some different ways. Now in the summer, you can try doing it. Just put some leaves in a bottle of water and take it with you as you walk around, and you'll notice that the tea will infuse in that natural room temperature water or outdoor temperature water, which is pretty hot in the summer, but without having to heat the water, these tender leaves will steep very quickly in the summer, and you will have an amazing iced tea, or even if iced tea it doesn't have to be iced, but just cold brewed, outdoor brewed, very refreshing tea. That's one thing I really recommend you do. So just put it in your water bottle, take it with you, or put it in your water bottle and put it in the fridge at night, and the next day you'll have an amazing iced tea. Another thing you can try with this tea, like other shaded teas like gyokuro, this is perfect for gyokuro, what I'm going to show you now, but this tea has some shade and you can also do it, it does respond well, is to do an ice drip. So for an ice drip, you can just take a bowl like this, or this was made specifically to do ice drip, but you need some kind of vessel to collect, and on top of it you put a filter. This is a filter in this case. It has those holes, and you put the filter on top, and you put the leaves inside, and then some ice cubes, and you let the ice cubes melt. That ice drip, that slow dripping through, melting of the ice and going through these tender leaves, will steep the tea in a very different way. I really recommend you try it now in the summer. It's a special thing you only really want to do in the summer, and it's something special. And it don't feel like you're misusing the leaves or something because you're making iced tea out of it, especially the drip tea, because once you've gone through the drip, you can re-steep the leaves in 60-degree water, 65-degree water, and you have an amazing the first steeping in warm water will almost be the same as if you never even did the ice drip. It doesn't change so much at first steeping. So I really recommend you try that. The ice drip takes about as long as it takes for the ice to melt, right? So it depends on how hot it is. But if you want to speed that up just a little bit, and I don't say speed it up a lot because the point is you want it to be a slow drip, slow melting, slow process. But you can speed up a little bit without sacrificing anything by adding just a little bit of water on top of the ice, and I mean just a little bit. And that little bit of water starts to help begin the process of melting the ice, and that kind of accelerates the process, maybe saves you like 10 minutes. So that's really great. I hope you discover, if you don't know already, ice brewing technique, and you should do it. Japanese green teas are the best. The shaded ones like Kabuse and Gyokuro are the best for it, or even Tencha. Tencha is great. But this Sencha, with the 7-day shade that it has, is also a great candidate for that ice drip. We'll just try this tea. It's wonderful. The third tea I'd like to talk to you about. So you can see it's also quite green, but it's not a green tea. This comes from India. It's a high mountain Darjeeling from Gumti. And you can see it's very green. It's the first flush. It has lots of buds. Those are the lighter colors you see there. Those are the buds. And Darjeeling tea is often considered black tea in the West, which has lots of problems. First of all, to call it black tea is kind of, in China where tea is from, what we call black tea, they call red tea. And they have another category of tea, the fermented teas, that they actually call black tea. So first of all, there's that issue. But even without that, to call this black tea, I mean, it's not oxidized. It's barely oxidized, very little. So first flush Darjeeling is nothing like a second flush Darjeeling or the fall flush Darjeeling. It's very green, and that's why we like to give these teas on our web and in our tea house. We have our own category for Himalayan teas. It's Himalaya, because first flush teas are very green. They have low oxidation. They're very spring-like, very aromatic, very floral, very fruity. Wonderful teas, and great in the summer. It's just fantastic. It's another great candidate to do ice brewing. Cold brewing. Meaning you just take the leaves and put them in water, let them steep overnight, and drink them in the morning. Incredible. Incredible. You'll find, so I think Darjeeling tea has some bitterness, has some astringency. When you do it in the cold water, it has a little bit less. It has astringency, especially with warm water. When you brew it warm, it's better to use like 90-degree water on the first flush. It's very green, the leaves, and it responds better. It's sweeter and less astringent. But Darjeeling tea is astringent, and it is a little bit bitter, even with short steepings. And that's just the way it is, and that's part of its delight, is that bitterness. To me, I assimilate this a little bit with beer, like an IPA, an Indian Pale Ale, that, it's more bitter, it's very floral, it's very refreshing. And this tea is so also. When it's brewed hot, and also when it's brewed cold, it actually even becomes more like a beer to me, like a fantastic non-alcoholic beer that I want to make for my friends when they come over. So I'll just brew it cold brew it, cold steep it, and it's so refreshing. It's a little bit like an IPA, and with the hops, strong hops aroma becomes a strong floral aroma that's very complex from Darjeeling, and that's why we chose it. It's not a green tea, but it's very green and it's very refreshing, and it's perfect for the summer. And another thing I want to talk about with this tea is, you might know that Darjeeling tea is classified by a system of letters, right? Superfine golden tippy flowery orange pico, STFGOFOP, or flowery orange pico, FOP. But there, in addition to that, there's the other classification. It's parallelly. One's not they're not independent of each other. You have the other classification system, which is which lot it comes from. So this is from Gumti estate, which is one of the old estates. It's over 120 years, and it's a fantastic estate. Year after year, always will find some of the best teas from Gumti, and this particular lot number is lot number 1. So lot number 1/22, right, from 2022. Lot number 1 means it's the first lot. The first lot is kind of like the Xinjia, or when we talk about Chinese tea, the pre-Qingming festival, pre-Day of the Dead festival. The earliest teas are the teas that have the highest expectations. They're the long-awaited teas. Of tea season's finally here. The fresh tea, first tea comes to the market. Those early tea has the demand is now. We finally get to drink fresh tea, and those early season teas are more pricey usually, and in the case of Darjeeling, it doesn't mean it's the best that it's number 1 of 2022. It doesn't mean it's the best, but because you might like lot number 6 more, you might like lot number 24 more, not just because of your particular taste, but maybe they're actually better. Maybe most people would agree, or tea tasters might agree, lot number 17 this year was the best, or 33, or whatever. But what lot number 1 has is it's really early spring. So that on an energetic level, the plants have been resting throughout the winter. It's been hibernating. Now spring comes, and the flush of buds comes out. It's the new energy of the spring, and that's the best energy of tea to be drinking. Soon I'll talk about the next tea and talk about a different energy that is also the best. But what I mean is better than summer tea. It's better than late spring tea. Energetically, it's vibrant, it's vigorating, and it's great. So in this case, this lot was also fabulous tasting. It's a classic Darjeeling, that classic floral and ripe fruit aroma and flavor, and it's very refreshing. And I hope you love it, and I hope you also try a cold brew. When we're talking about energetically, so this fourth tea it's a Dragon Ball, and it's a Shengpo, and this is what it looks like when you peel it in. You see all the buds also. This is a 2018 from Xiaohusai in Linchang near Mengku. And Xiaohusai is a great terroir. I mean, it's in an area full of famous mountains, like Bingdao is nearby, and Dashuishan is nearby. And it's Gushu. So Gushu is old trees or ancient trees. Gushu material for this, and that, when we talk about energy, is a different thing. It's old tree energy, and old tree energy is soft and gentle and sweet and delightful. And so I said that we want from the early spring tea that vibrancy, but this is another fabulous energy, the calm, soothing, sweet energy of old trees. It's fabulous. You'll find this tea has a lot of huigan, yeah, so it has that sweetness that returns and stays long on the breath. And it's also very refreshing. So sheng pu'er is the pu'er that's unfermented. It's what we call ripe. What we call raw in English. Raw meaning, whereas the ripe or the cooked is the fermented shou pu'er. The sheng is the green, it's the ripe unfermented pu'er. So this pu'er will become fermented in an ambience of humidity over a period of 20, 30, 40 years. It will ferment more and become darker and take on some notes of fermented tea. But right now it's a 2018, it's young, it's sweet, it's light, but it handles many, many, many steepings, and it's very yin, so it's very cooling. A sheng pu'er is very cooling, so cooling that many Chinese don't really drink it until it's aged, because it's a little bit too cooling for their bodies. But here it's so hot in the summer, and our bodies tend to be more yang, I think. As Westerners, many of us are more yang, and we do benefit from the cooling aspect in the summer on our bodies. It's just like you drink this. So this is like 8 to 9 grams of tea, which makes it ideal to put in a kung fu pot that's a little bit bigger, maybe. This is, I don't know, maybe 200 mil. Or if you use a smaller one, just make sure it's kind of wide so that the leaves have a place to open. This is not it's not what they call a tea art. Yeah, this isn't something that grows and you have flowers coming out of it. It's just compressed. So you want to use hot water, boiling water, to first get it opening, because compressed kind of tight. And but then you can use 90-degree water. It'll be sweeter, and it'll handle many steepings. Sheng pu'er is among the most patient teas. So patience is the term we use to describe how many steepings a tea takes or can handle. It's a lot of tea, so this tea could give a tea all day long for a person, or many hours worth for a group of people. So I recommend sharing it. I recommend you trying it on a hot day, and noticing how sheng pu'er really cools your body. It's fabulous, and it's one of those summer teas that I think is really important that we drink. And then throughout the year, in the winter, for example, in the fall and cold days, we're not going to want to drink a young sheng pu'er as much. Our body won't ask for it. Lastly, I show you again this tea. This is the bonus tea included in the 150 selection. It's another one of the 10 famous Chinese teas. This is Huangshan Maofeng. So Huangshan is Yellow Mountain, the same Yellow Mountain that inspired my record, Yellow Mountain Birdsong, which you can listen to on Spotify or Bandcamp. Yellow Mountain Birdsong. So that was a record that I recorded inspired by the birdsong at Huangshan. This is Maofeng from Huangshan, and it has the what they call the sparrow's bird shape, sparrow's tongue shape leaf, which are really beautiful. It's such a beautiful tea, and it's a very delicate tea. So unlike the Luan Wapian, it's delicate, it's fine, it's sweet, it doesn't overbrew. You could just put some leaves in this in a bowl like this, and brew it as bowl tea, very meditatively. Put some leaves, put the water, and it doesn't matter if you get into a deep relaxed state and you're meditating and you forget about life for a while. It's great when you come back. You'll have your tea there, your leaves have opened up, and they're beautiful looking. And it's a gentle tea, so even with the long steeping, it doesn't overbrew, it doesn't become bitter, it doesn't become astringent. It stays light and sweet and gentle, and it's inspiring. So Maofeng means hairy peak. That's the term is probably used to describe the fine hair on the tips of the leaf. I'm going to show you. sparrow's tongue. It's one bud, one leaf, fine picking, and we don't really know where the name comes, but you could say it also kind of looks like mountain peaks. The way that the needles kind of just like stand up as you look at them, they're kind of like mountain peaks. It's just a beautiful tea, a sweet tea, and you'll find notes that are very vegetal, kind of like artichoke heart, bamboo shoot, fresh peas, those kind of sweet, delicate notes. And another refreshing tea, another green tea. So that's it for this edition. I hope you made it to the end and you find these teas interesting. I hope you have them at home now and are enjoying them. And if you don't and you would like to receive, we can still send out some of these packs. And if not, and you want for the fall, in October we'll be sending it out again, that fall edition. And until next time in the fall, enjoy your summer, enjoy the teas, and